Dalefield Road. I don't know how far out of Carterton we are, but just a few kilometres, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think it's about, what, 3 k's from the school to town or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've just come up a bump. Did you notice we came up a slope? And I flicked my lights on because we are passing, we went up a little bit of a hill as we came towards here, and now we've got another hill in front of us. Just that green grassy slope, not the big mountain behind, but just the grassy slope. So we've just come over one fault, and here's another one. And just in the distance over there, they join together. So one of them that goes in that direction goes towards Carterton, and it's called the Carterton Fault. Who lives in Carterton? It's your fault. It's your fault. This one here is the Wairarapa Fault, which is even bigger, and the last time it moved was in 1855.
Biggest earthquake New Zealand's ever had. An altitude of 8.2 to 8.3 destroyed.
Excellent. So it's the biggest earthquake that has been experienced in New Zealand since the Europeans turned up. Because in Maori history we do not have a written record, but there are tales of the ground shaking, there are tales of the sea coming into the land. So there's archaeological evidence for previous earthquakes too. So we've got 2 massive faults, and so this one, if you look at it, it's probably 10 metres high. But that movement of 10 metres didn't happen in a single earthquake. It would have happened over a period of several earthquakes, perhaps 2,000 or 1,000 years apart, maybe 1,000 years, I think is the average for this fault. The Carterton fault ruptures, I think, every 2,000 to 5,000 years, so it's not so common. So faults actually have a cycle. There's an earthquake, the fault moves, it might go sideways and up a bit, and it ruptures along maybe 100 kilometres or 200 kilometres, and then it stays quiet for a long period of time while the plates slowly push together and the stress builds up again. Okay? So we're in a country that is being sort of shaken by earthquakes, and because there are many faults, the earthquakes happen more frequently than once every 1,000 years. The hills we see in the distance have all been pushed up along this fault, particularly along the Wairarapa Fault. And that might seem strange because you think, well, the fault's out here and the hills are back there. But what's happened is the fault has moved the land up in a series of earthquakes, but while the land has been going up, it's also been eroded away by rivers and streams in the rain. So that means that the hills are sort of look like they're further back because there's a whole load of it missing because of erosion.
So you're saying that this used to be one big clump?
It didn't necessarily used to, it didn't all go up at once and then suddenly get eroded. It's been happening at the same time. So the fault moves up a metre in an earthquake, there's a bit of erosion, and 1,000 years later it moves up again, but in that meantime quite a lot of erosion's happened. So the hills never quite go up like a block with a vertical face.
But like way ago, that top of that hill would be down here.
Absolutely, correct.
Why?
In fact, the top of that hill is already been worn down. So the original surface of the ground, which is here where we are now, would be much higher, maybe 1.5 kilometres high, say. Quite a lot higher. And the fault has been doing this, we think, for about 1 million years, roughly, something like that. Maybe longer, maybe 2. You know, we're talking very vague estimates. Okay, any questions? You can go online and find what this fault looks like on a map, and you'll notice that it's not just 100 metres of grassy hillside, it actually goes all the way down to Featherston, past Featherston all the way down to the coast, and all the way to, once it goes to the ocean, it's kind of under the water, but alongside Baring Head, all the way, you know, sort of towards Wellington. And in this direction, it combines with other faults, it just morphs into other faults. Yeah, we'll keep off the road slightly. And essentially, these faults continue in a line all the way up to the north coast of the North Island, the Bay of Plenty. Is that a long way?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. All right, I think that's enough. earthquake, what left behind. So that's great. So it's